pandemic got us into a reflective space and made us look inward to see what we can do for the world at large. As a self-expression coach, I became a catalyst for women and started Vani, a one-on-one coaching program for women on finding their voice, to speak up, to be visible. As a storyteller, I spotted there were many ordinary people amongst us leading extraordinary lives, making a difference to the world, and they needed to be heard. Thus was born You and I with Rashmi Shetty, where amazing personal journeys with their uniqueness and individuality are showcased, a reaffirmation of the fact, open your eyes wider, the world is far more beautiful when we acknowledge the presence of both you and I. Our guests today are Susmita and Sudhanshu, who are entrepreneurs and first-generation organic farmers who have sustainability and inclusivity as their purpose. While Sudhanshu studied finance at Leeds University Business School and joined the financial sector initially, Susmita had completed her master's degree from Tata Institute of Social Sciences and joined the workforce. Today, she too is a dedicated female farmer at Jaivik Jeevan, Bhopal, and an avid fitness coach. After living for 15 years in the metros and becoming part of the problem, they decided as a couple to become part of the solution providers. With an innate, ever-growing desire to work out scalable, nature-positive, profitable models built around nature, they founded Kalpavriksha Integrated Organic Farm and forward integrated and founded Jaivik Jeevan. With over 4 years of on-the-ground experience in organic farming and 2 years of successful organic food retailing, they have developed an in-depth expertise in building a pro-nature, scalable and profitable business. Having established a network of organic farmers and processes to establish authentic organic food traceability and regular organic food clientele, they aspire to continue to work on a profitable, sustainable organic farming and rural economy model with an established front-end demand, and also help move 5,000 plus marginal conventional farmers back to regenerative and profitable methods of agriculture and pure food. Listen in as they share their inspirational journey and life lessons. For more details, you can visit their website www.jaivikjeevan.farm. That is www.jaivikjeevan.farm. Hi Sudhanshu, hi Susmita. Welcome to You and I with Rashmi Shetty. Honor to have both of you who gave up such a beautiful career to do something even more meaningful. But before we get down to talk about what you're currently doing, I want to know what the lives of little Sudhanshu and little Susmita were all about.
I had quite a satiating childhood, I would say. There was always a sense of abundance in the house. So it was not materialistic abundance as such. It was like there is a feeling of you have everything, enjoy what you have, rather than, oh, I don't have this, or, crying over something other. And we lived in a joint family, so that really helped, because everything that came in the house was naturally to be shared between all the siblings, all the brothers and sisters. In one of the class assignments, I was asked, it's like how many brothers and sisters you have? So I wrote 6. So when my parents-teacher meet happened, the teacher was very happy, because, usually the person writes the immediate sibling, but I wrote like my fufa daughter and all of that, because the sibling. So it's a sense of being in one unit was there always. Apart from that, in terms of education or in terms of performance in the education, I was pretty average till 10th class, because maths was there in my curriculum and there's a maths phobia. As soon as the maths went out, I became a gold medalist. Looks like that was the flaw. That was something that was missing. So I studied from Bhopal. Then I went to St. Xavier's, Bombay to study political science there. And then I went from St. Xavier's to Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai again, and studied criminology. Uh, Both, yeah. So education-wise, it's very different than organic farming and the other profession that I do. But the beautiful part is, St. Xavier's also gave you that freedom to decide what you want to do. Choose what you want to do, understand what you want to do. And this further gave you the total field exposure of how to understand, how not being judgmental about something. There's nothing called right and wrong. So understanding communities and working with them rather than telling them what is good for them. These are things which are very small things which we learn very innately from the beginning only, from family to our colleges. And then I started working with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare with the HIV/AIDS unit. And that's where I started working with sex worker communities in West Bengal. And they taught me, dude, what are you, man? If somebody was illiterate and they are in the lowest, man, in the sense, in terms of society wise, they do not have a positioning, but they created their community based organization and they have their bank accounts and they have their children going to school. It's like they gave me the power that, ever you feel weak and ever you question your own ability, remember where we came from and still what we have achieved. So people, communities that I worked with, built it up, gave me the confidence and helped me know that, there is not one conventional way of living. It's not I have to go to a job which is 9 to 5, save money, buy a house, have a child, send him to a good school. The normal way of life is not the only way to do. It's one of the way, and if somebody enjoys it, go ahead. But you can take the unconventional path, and that's where I today working with Sudhanshu as Mahila Kisan, happy, enjoying my life, learning every day with the nature. And apart from that, I also quit my job to be a professional fitness coach and a nutritionist because I realized that when it is really called the health is wealth, it is actually health is wealth. If you have health in right perspective, everything is good. You will enjoy basi roti also. But if you're not feeling good about yourself, a best of Taj pasta will also not make you happy. So it's about health. And so today now we are totally working on the field, working with the community, and very, very happy, touchwood, to be here. That's all from my end.
Wow. Okay, Sudhanshu.
My childhood was a little quite different from what Sushmita had. And as far as I remember, we were based largely in Vidisha. My father was in police, so he had a transferable job. We were stationed in Vidisha and we were studying in a local convent school. So I remember my childhood was difficult because I faced a lot of challenges learning and writing and and then I remember my notebooks were full of less of graphite, more of red colors throughout the textbook. And what the hell, I mean, what is this? But and I faced tremendous challenge in understanding why we are going through this entire thing. Why we had to go to school, why we had to read and write and all those things. So that logic was not clear in my mind when I was so young. And I think that was the base of everything, that why I was facing so many challenges. And I mean, I remember I had to repeat my KG2 because my teachers and obviously my parents felt that, this guy, I mean, you have to repeat. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very difficult. How he'll be able to cope, and eventually he'll probably fail in first standard. I mean, who fails in first standard, man? But he'll fail in first standard, and it'll be really bad. So why not just take him back a year? I think that was not the best thing that happened. I didn't feel great about it, and it remained like a trauma for a long time. And my reading and writing, I think, I mean, there were no doctors you can actually go to and talk to them, and my parents were also not informed that there is a possibility of dyslexia also, or any kind of learning writing disabilities maybe. And I mean, it remained undiagnosed. Reasonable schooling up till certain class. So my mother was also always, she had one thing very clear in mind. After this standard, you have to go to Bhopal or maybe Indore. We moved to Bhopal. Then from sixth standard, I was in Bhopal, studied in one particular school, Campion School, which is quite a nice school. I was there till 10th standard because I remember that I think it was around 6th standard that I decided that I have to, I wanted to be a businessman. You know, there was like maybe entrepreneurship or businessman, whatever you call that. I wanted to do something on my own. You know, that was clear then. And my mother told me, you know, the commerce is something that is the best thing that you should be doing. But commerce was not the good thing. You know, the bad people do go there. You know, there was a there was a thought process around, and the maths and science, the best people go there. But whatever, I didn't care about it. So I thought, you know, I have to change my school. From 10th I went to 11th, where I met her. So then I think dots connected. Later on, after years of trauma and pain, I realized maybe this was the reason, because I had to go back a year, and then I met her in the same class, you know. And you wanted to say something, Susmita?
No, I said it was destined. That's why you failed KG2. Who fails KG2? We were destined to meet. So I
Okay, it
always
was
see there's a bigger. Always God has plans for you.
yeah, like we were just chatting before you joined, and I mean, we were just chatting with ma'am about the same thing, and I think from 11th, I think things started getting into place, and I could learn a lot of things from Sushmita, how to study, you know, and what are the smarter ways of studying. That really helped. I used to really get inspired from the way she used to study, and then I was like, then I used to slog my ass at home, and I used to study like hours and hours together, like till 4 o'clock in the morning, then sleeping by maybe two hours, and then going back to school, meeting her again. You know, that happened, and I think it was 11th only where we, you know, got into a relation. You know,
Yeah,
it
it's
was
like a
eventually.
school mate journey and together. But I think Sudhanshu and I have very different temperament as such, and that actually complements because Sudhanshu thinks a lot, researches a lot, and he puts on things on place. And I'll just come in. Why don't you do the second option? It looks good. You know, so so we are not a hasty decision maker, but it is a combination of somebody who does well research and somebody who takes just a decision that, you know, take the second, we'll see what to be done. So I think that combination from school, which we began, we came together as people, and now the world has changed. But we committed ourselves to 11th only. It looks like we are compatible. We should get married. So we had
I think research was there.
yeah. So we did had a long time of long-term relationship also. I think these are all unknown realities of the world now. But I think it was, and every time we both took a decision, it was not pushed on each other. It was discussed. That's why, you know, when Sudhanshu decided to quit his job and take up a course of action, which is very, very unconventional, and both our families are not the farming families. Sometimes what happens is, if Sudhanshu's father was a farmer and he had a farming thing and he decides to quit and get into farming, I would say that there is a institutional memory in the house of how to grow gehu. Now, this boy who has been from MS Banking Finance from University of Leeds, commerce, everything, and job, and suddenly he decides that he'll grow aloe vera. And I just told Sudhanshu, are you confident about what you're planning to do? And I know Sudhanshu is very, very nature conscious person. He doesn't like to socialize. I like to socialize. So if I know now Rashmi ma'am is going to be in my part, like, how are you? Let's catch up and all that. Sudhanshu will be very happy to meet you, but he might not even send you a happy Diwali. But he will love you in his heart. So I realized that he will be doing well because he's going to be close to nature. And so before we took this leap, because it was an important leap, we cleared all our loans. Chota mota, ada teda, whatever, you know. We never bought a house. We never bought a car, extra car. You know, because when you are taking this kind of unconventional steps, the loan or the burden of debt or the burden of anything will keep you always strangled. And that's why we decided that, you know, we didn't have a kid also that time. So we were free birds, you know, you succeed, fine. You don't succeed, then also fine, you know. At least you will never have this thing that, "Arey, koshish kar lete to kya hota?" You know, so we wanted to take that unconventional path. I'm happy God was with us. And 4 years down the lane, we had a kid also who is now a budding farmer. and a fitness trainer. So happy to have him with us in my family now.
That's a beautiful introduction about each other. And, now, once you finished school, went into college, both of you decided to move to Mumbai very consciously.
I think Mumbai was not something that we decided to go as such. I mean, the idea was to go into the best colleges of India. Dreamt of going to SRCC. Studied hard. We studied together, and we ensured that this is the aim that we best college wherever it is.
If you remember, the India Today used to come. In India Today, the best colleges of India. Now nobody reads them, I believe. But every 3 years, every year they used to come with best colleges: arts, commerce, science, and we had the benchmark. ये 10 में से किसी एक में जाने का है. बस clear. So that's how it could have been Delhi, it could have been Bombay, but I'm glad it was Bombay. I loved it.
Yeah, because that's a very vibrant city.
Oh.
So moving from Bhopal to a city as vibrant as Mumbai, which doesn't sleep, was it a culture shock at all, or you just took it like a fish to water?
Actually, the first day I reached there, I reached at Lokmanya Terminus, Kurla, and I realized, Mumbai ऐसा दिखता है. I had some more expectation from it, and I reached at 4:30 in the morning. And suddenly somebody told me, take the Lokmanya terminal se train. At 4:30 in the morning, hardly I could keep one leg in the train. And I said, what? Where did I reach? And we come from Bhopal, so nothing to brag about, but the houses are big, the roads are empty. It wasn't shocking, but it was like eyes wide open, and you're like actually standing like in the, if you sit as if a Bhopali goes and stand at CST, and every 30 seconds there is like a train coming, zillions coming out and going somewhere, and then the platform is again empty. So it is a spectacular thing to see. So me and my father actually stood there from Lokmanya Terminus to CST. What is happening? So it was actually a different thing. Bombay treated me and Sudhanshu very well. And we love the city, but we love the city more in the student life.
For me, it was more of a personality development place. Yeah. I was very naive. You do whatever your parents says, you do whatever your teacher says. This is good, this is bad, there is no gray. No, I was that kind of good boy. I think Mumbai taught me so much. I think it made me so wiser that I could see a lot of things through and through. Education was okay, but more than education, I think I could become a lot better human being, more smarter human being, because we went to Bombay.
Actually, education-wise, Xavier's what it taught us. The teachers were great, okay, but more than that, discipline in life. 8 o'clock in the morning, Bombay starts. The college starts at 8 o'clock, and the teachers will reach from Andheri, okay, or Borivali at 8 o'clock, and you are not reaching from Cherny Road, so you feel ashamed of yourself. And then 120 people in a class, and yet the teacher knows you. The dedication to work, quality of work, whatever you do, every day matters. So, you don't teach this in political science. It is the culture of the place that you taught us. And Bombay taught us there is no space for lethargy. There is no space for lackadaisical behavior. You have to be on the top of your work. And I think that culture from a Bhopali, which is a little lazy, ho jayega yaar, kal. We are lackadaisical to the best, and we love it. So what I now enjoy is that I will have a quality time in my work, and then I will just sleep with my dogs and not do anything about it, and not fret that I'm not doing anything about it. Okay, this is my time with dogs. So I think it's a good mix that happened to our life.
And I think it just happened by chance, because I got through Delhi University College, and I got through Xavier's also. Susmita got through Pune College, right? And then I think in one of the lists, Susmita's name came in Xavier's, because Xavier's was definitely a better choice, and she joined there. And for me, it was an evening college in Xavier, so I decided not to go in Xavier's evening college. I joined R.A. Poddar. Then I had to change from Poddar to HR college. HR college was much better choice then. Eventually, we went to the best colleges of the country. That happened. But we never decided that we'll go to the same town, same place, because, we were into relation. So it happened, I think, again, destiny.
So the universe definitely was planning it for you much better than you were doing it yourself. But what I liked, Sushmita, and what you said is the best of both cultures is what you're using now. When you finished your education, your graduation, what were the next steps that the city opened up for you? How did life span out for both?
The beautiful part is that since we were in the best education institution, they paved the way path for us. So campus came naturally, which was lucky of us because we were not hounding for a job somewhere. This gave that platform to fly. So all the hard work that you do in the school, it actually creates a pathway for you. So I always believe in small, so I'm a great thing of habit making. Like you just have to see the next step. Just continue to do what you're doing, have a goal, and you'll reach somewhere. I would say thank you to my parents because they were never very pushy kinds. Kya karoge? Naukri ka dekha kya? So I never had an education loan in my head. Nothing a pressure on the head, which was there. My father, single earner. He took care of me and my sister. And the culture of education. Beta, padho, अच्छे से padho. So that's it. पढ़ाई किया, खाना खाया. This is the two questions asked. And they're like, no, fine, whatever you are happy. So I think a lot of credit goes to my parents of not creating the pressure. So when there's no pressure, now everything seems to come very easily to you. So when the campus placement came in, I got the first job and the best job. So I moved to Delhi with it. I think Bombay was very kind to give us that opportunity and that jump. And where I moved from one metropolitan Mumbai to another metropolitan New Delhi.
And did you follow suit, Sudhanshu, to Delhi as well?
No, I didn't. I wanted to go abroad, study finance. So during the course, when I was in Mumbai, I finalized that finance is something I really loved economics. I was doing better in it also, and finance was something that really attracted me. So I did a lot of research with my seniors and juniors together, and we used to spend hours together, which is the best college, which is the best course. We used to contact a lot of alumni of different universities, again, which are the top universities of different places and all, blah, blah, blah. We did that. And then I applied for several universities in UK and Australia. And finally, I zeroed down to Leeds University Business School. I went there and studied MS Finance, and I'm so glad I went there. And I think that was the first time I was not with her. I'm usually a lost person. I mean, I'm driving and I'll go somewhere else, and I'll probably lose track of which road to go, because I think I'm most of the time dreaming and thinking, this is the way, you can do things that way, and I keep losing track. But Leeds was something that there was the place, and I did everything right from the scratch, and it was my decision to go there. And when I went there, then it was amazing because right from the beginning, alone there, making a lot of friends for life, spending amazing time there and studying like hours and hours, whole night and day together, learning amazing new things, books, the way the teachers were, I mean, fabulous teachers, fabulous infrastructure. I think the way you should think and analyze things, analytical thinking came from Leeds, which to an extent Sushmita hates it because I keep analyzing everything. Okay, this is this way and this is this way. So maybe this is this way and this is. So she hates me on that way. But whenever we take any decision, eventually the decision is rock solid with a lot of knowledge, and we know why we are doing and what we are doing. So that always helps. So that happened.
But here I'm curious of one thing. Sushmita was always a very social person, friendly person, so there's never a problem. But for somebody like you who was pretty quiet, to move first to Mumbai itself was a culture shock, you said. But how did you find yourself and how did you open up in a city like that, which is so full of people, like for somebody who comes from a space where he likes his own company, to be pushed in the midst of crowds and still stay and enjoy solitude is a choice. How did you open up, bloom to be a person who then went on to Leeds and managed yourself?
I think it was not easy. It was difficult, and I saw that the world was very, very different. Before that, we never used to even demand any pocket money or used to spend anything in Bhopal. I mean,
20 rupees, minimum 20 rupees you have to give me every day. I'll have one samosa.
And I like, if I'm getting any money from my parents or any relative, I'll just take it and put it somewhere, safe. Okay, now I have this much. I'll keep saving it and keeping it in one place. And I never spent on, Anyway, street food and me never goes together. And Sushmita is just the opposite. Mumbai was definitely difficult. First year was very troubled because I couldn't just understand what's going on. Everybody was so rushing everywhere, and there are barely any friends. There are more of acquaintances. And I had my own share of troubled times during first year or second year, largely first year. Then from second year things started stabilizing, and I could get a hang of it. And from there I started becoming a bit more smarter, eventually leading to changing my place where I was staying, changing my school, college where I was studying. Then I was managing the entire hostel because people thought this guy is more honest, and he'll be able to take care of things better. Then there was a time I changed a lot. After that, I don't think we look back at all.
No, it makes logical sense because usually transitions and metamorphosis takes time. And for
Yeah.
somebody like you, definitely takes longer, especially when you move from a very lovely, quiet city with less people to a city that has people all around you all the time. And you don't even know where they come from. And you went to Leeds, Sushmita, you went to Delhi. Now, from the city of dreams, you go into the capital city of the country. Was the shift easy for you?
So I think, as you said, I'm pretty social. I'm a water. You put me anywhere, I'll go. I'll manage. I'll merge. But I would say that from Bombay, and I would say this kind word from Bombay. Bombay was, it has an impression of being harsh, but it is actually not. It is a very, very kind city, and I have met the kindest people there. So I would go back to Bombay once, and I knew that I had a classmate called Chetna. Her mother was like full time into a bank job, and then also on Sundays she decides to cook for us and send it. And she used to come to Elphiston station saying that, यार वहाँ पे प्लेटफॉर्म बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है, तू इधर से आजा, मैं उधर से आ जाती हूँ, I'll just give it to you and I'll get into a train. And I realized that, somebody who has a Sunday to themselves only decides, somebody who is away from home and yet, come up and help the other person and do not even mention it's about it. Like, dabba diya and chala gaya, like not even creating that, kitna effort mara maine. So, and then, I met another person who gave me a lead to a hostel, and just on records, off records, my parents have seen Bombay as one of those jahan bomb blast hota hai, or a communal thing, and they're certainly dropping their 17-year-old to a city there, and they have no idea about it. And my parents had never seen Bombay there. And then another person comes to her where I lived in the hostel in Bombay Central, which is predominantly a different place altogether in the world. And he says that, don't worry, auntie, agar kuch bhi problem hoti, main usko apne ghar le jaungi. So I have, and these are all the things that has gone into me now. It's a part of my DNA, myself. In a troubled time or in a normal time, be kind to the other person. Put yourself into that person's shoes and realize that, this kind word that, don't worry, auntie, I will take her to the home. My home is just 60 kilometers away. And from here, so Bombay, it actually makes us emotional as we think about that place. I moved to Delhi, and Delhi was a different place altogether. I think Delhi is nice. Mumbai has a sense of association. Mumbai mera hai. There's a sense of belongingness to that. Delhi, people from all places thrive. And somewhere there's a lot of friction that is going on, So, for example, in Bombay, I was sitting in Churley Road one day, and that time I had a habit of pair phaila ke baithne ka, because I came from Bhopal, more space. A train comes out, and then a man came running, and he toppled because of my leg. And I said, shit, man, ye bhi ladai karega. But वो कुछ नहीं बोलता है, वो चला जाता है, because I realized that he has no time for me and himself also to fight with me. But here I come to Delhi, thoda parking space, thoda sa jagah, thoda sa wo, and there's a constant tension which is going on. But then you become a part of the tension also. So you are also like, okay, I'm here. I've created one little space. I call myself, I was the 8th passenger on a 7-seater. So I had kept my little ass like meri jagah. If somebody moves out, I will move it. I lived in Delhi also 11 years. And I loved it. I think thoda sa initial part of it was difficult, but once you get out it, the momos and the golgappe sail you through.
Yeah, talking about food and going back to Sudhanshu. So once you completed Leeds, Sudhanshu, did you continue working there? And did Sushmita come and meet you once in a while? When did the two of you get married?
I just always wanted her to come down to the UK, and maybe we could have stayed together. Maybe she could have studied there. Even now I tell her that it's such an amazing place. You should, once in a life, you should go and study in these beautiful, amazing research-based universities that you love it. But she was like, Desh, I'm not going to leave my country. My country is, I have to make changes. I have to do this and I have to do that. I was like, okay, that's nice, but but never mind. She never came down, and then eventually I came down. As soon as my education got over, I got back to India. I got a job in ICICI Lombard, worked there as health insurance underwriter. So my initial career got shaped through my bosses and my team where I was working, and I had amazing experience there. Um, Amazing analytical skills, the how things done, and again, Lombard, ICICI Lombard is an organization which gives you so much of freedom to do so many things. I mean, that there'll be a lot of people who will tell you that they're bombarding you with a lot of work. That is one way to look at it. But I think my initial 2 years of work there, I mean, amazing. I mean, the kind of work we got, right from basic data entry to, or maybe reading different insurance journals, innovating a new product, scoping that kind of technology that will help the clients to understand more about insurance and the deductions and everything. So that was largely, and value-added services and insurance was added then, and I was heading there, and it was fantastic journey there.
Fantastic journey, fantastic career. And Sushmita here in Delhi is enjoying herself. So you moved to Delhi, is it, from Leeds, Sudhanshu?
So I went to Hyderabad.
Oh, okay. And when did the two of you get married?
We got married thrice.
Yeah, it's actually the spices that we got married thrice because of all the. So Sudhanshu belongs to a Brahmin family. I belong to a Bengali family. I am a total carnivorous. I am a free person in my mind, but I think that's not what expected out of a conventional daughter-in-law, and so there were problems,
My
difficult
parents had a lot of
years.
reservations. I mean, they were like, you cannot get married to anybody other than a Brahmin. Absolutely not. And they always knew. I mean, we never hide. I mean, we
Yeah,
never
yeah.
didn't even attempt to hide anything right from 11th standard, because it was like, I mean, we were not doing anything wrong. I mean, we really liked each other, and we had no idea what is caste.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part of it because Sudhanshu and I never knew, like, in a sense, because caste was never discussed in the family as such. It's like education hai, khana pina hai, socialization bas ho gaya. When kaun kisko belong karta hai, we didn't knew till we came to marriage that, oh, this happens.
Both parents
So,
were like,
yes.
Brahmin, 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 whoever it is. I mean, you be it love marriage or arranged marriage or whatever marriage, it has to be Brahmin. I was like, no, it's not going to happen, It's done. It took a lot of time. My parents wouldn't even discuss about it. We had troubled times, years, painful time.
But we
But
stood by each other
yes,
and
we stood by each
we.
other, and we were clear about it. Either we are going to marry together or maybe not married at all.
Yeah.
Even then, we are together.
We're together.
Okay.
With
And
goals
seeing
that
the resolute two of you, I'm sure your parents gave in. So,
yeah. So I came back to Bhopal, and Sushmita joined in. So Sushmita was still working in Delhi. So I joined in a educational institute in Bhopal. I was taking care. I was the treasurer there, and Sushmita later came in to get married. So 2012. First, we got married in January. January, because one of my elder eldest Tauji was not keeping well, and my parents suggested that if you want to get married now.
No.
Otherwise, but they were not supposed to be in the marriage. They were like telling me that do if you want to do this, do this. Anyways, we are not coming into your marriage, And then nobody came. And then Sushmita's parents arranged the entire wedding and everything very nicely. It happened on 11th Feb.
So there was again, my parents had a very, it's not that my parents also had an open arm to Sudhanshu, let's be honest with it, because the resistance that they could see, and they have seen their daughter that, free bird, enjoying their life, going to a very conventional, strong
Then my father
organization
was
on that.
a policeman. Then
Yeah.
my family comes from Gwalior, like
Yeah.
very close to Chambal region.
So,
Gwalior
yeah, they
was
also had the reservation. But then one day, my parents just asked me, "Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this guy? Is he going to make you happy? Is he going to keep you happy always?" I said, "I am sure about it." Okay, let's go. My sister had played an important role because she said to my mother, "You don't need a good marriage. You need a good life partner." So what happens on the 12th, February, 14th February doesn't matter the day of the marriage. It will matter if the man stands by her, then it's what difference does it make. So I must give it to Sudhanshu. He stood in front of 1,000 plus guests alone. One man.
Yeah, so no friends. There were a couple of friends, yes.
Friends, but as such family. So it talked a lot about his character. And my father was like, okay, this man will stand by my daughter, because if he could stand by such an important event all by himself without anybody standing by him, he knew that this is the right guy. So he's happy. He hangs out with Sudhanshu.
Wow.
And then my mother gave in, and then she said, okay. Then they organized another wedding.
So 1 year later, I got married again. She had to spend unnecessarily extra. And then we had a destination wedding. Can you believe it? I said, "Arey, tabhi kar lete."
Okay, so it made up for everything.
Yeah, it did. So actually, we went to a hill station in Madhya Pradesh, only hill station called Pachmadi, and she took everybody. We booked the best resorts there. She got everything done. And I said that, man, she really made up for all the years. But of course.
Okay. So right at the beginning, Sushmita, you said that aloe vera and nature and all of that, Sudhanshu, just match up very well. So Sudhanshu, when did nature call you for you to give up a very beautiful corporate career, a wonderful life that had just begun, to get so close and literally get your hands dirty? How did you take that decision?
I think, right from the beginning of this podcast, we were talking about how destiny, takes shape. I remember when we were in Vidisha, and again, the same phase where I was not able to study properly and all those things. And we used to travel a lot in my father's Jeep from one place to another, so we used to travel these villages and all. And I could see a lot of, cows, buffaloes, and then I remember I had maybe in two opportunities I could keep Hiran with me for a week or so. Right in the beginning, I was like, I felt very comfortable with animals, comfortable with fewer people around, absolutely happy with around trees. And when I got married, we happened to go to a lot of treks. We went to Lahore Spiti, and I think we haven't missed any trek around Bhopal. We have gone like extensively, and wherever we plan on going any vacation or a holiday or anything, it is always around nature. And I think when we were working in Delhi, it struck us that that is something. Why not we do something and shape our lives around what we really love, and that was nature. And then there were a lot of things happening. Sushmita got ill in Delhi, and it was a very weird headache that she had, and it was reduced that it was happening because of the pollution in Delhi. And then we also saw, we were like, so always not at ease to see so many cars around, so many people around. I mean, Delhi is superfluous with human beings. Another moment was when we saw that heap of like mountain of waste not too far from our Okla office. All those things connected, and we felt that this is not the life we should be continuing with. And we felt that the kind of carbon footprints we had, the kind of pollution we guys used to add to the city, and then we felt that how fortunate we have been, because we got the best of education. Even what we are doing was really nice, but I think the calling was different, and we wanted to be a part of the solution largely, and not to crib about why every year you have to look for increments of that 10% or 12%, and then you have to make that kind of sales, get that kind of maybe a swanky car or maybe a beautiful house that you would have probably dreamt of. I think there is no end to it. I mean, you get a Tissot, then it's probably a Rolex someday, and then there is a Toyota, and maybe tomorrow a BMW. I thought there is no end to it. I think it was very conscious and gradual process where we could decide that this is what we would like to do. And during that research, we happened to, I mean, I always knew there was something called as organic farming and organic products. But during that research, I could understand that organic farming is really interesting. Like Susmita mentioned earlier, that we avoided taking any kind of loans, which create that kind of pressures. Because if you take a house loan, you are done for 20 years. Even if you want to, even if your soul wants to get out and go to a jungle and live there, you cannot, because SBI is sitting on your head. EMIs rules you every single day, and those EMIs will decide what you will do and how your future will be. And we were like, no, I mean, banks cannot create your future. At least that I've studied in finance. So we thought, let's create a model of our life where we don't have to depend a lot on other things. I mean, our Atmanirbharta kind of stuff, where we could probably live on a farm. We have a solar energy. We create a cob house. We grow our own vegetables, a few other things, and maybe do consulting through that place. And we travel to different places, and we'll just we'll be consultants, and maybe utilize our skills accordingly. But we will not be dependent on all those things. So we were working on that phase, and we happened to see organic farming. We learned about it, researched about it, and we started our farming with aloe vera and moringa, and that too organically. I think now when I see, I mean, I'm sitting on the farm right now, and when I imagine what the kind of step I had taken in 2018, when I see our pictures of the farm and we working on the farm, I miss a beat and see, dude, you had a lot of courage. I mean, we had a lot of courage to do this. I mean, Susmita, I was definitely had a lot of information, more than Susmita had, and I knew what I was doing. But for Susmita to let me do that, not knowing what exactly this guy is doing, I think that is huge. I would have not done that, I think.
Initially, Susmita, if I can just come in here, you had said that Sudhanshu does a lot of research, while you just come, look at it, quickly read through, and say, "Nay, let's not do one, let's do plan two." This entire research that he had done on organic farming. Now, Sudhanshu, a clarification here. You were in a corporate job, Sushmita had her job, things were going smoothly, and you saw piles of dirt everywhere around you. And what was your step? Your step was, we are going to live in a small place which is going to be self sufficient and sustainable, close to nature, because I love living with animals and can coexist with nature as close as possible. So it was on a very individual plane that you set out on this journey. And we'll do consulting from wherever we are in the from the farm place with all the technology to assist us. Is that what it was?
Largely, it was on an individual level, and I wanted to understand how it is done really. On a paper, it looked fine,
Yeah.
but it was, let's try and do this. It looks very interesting, and we can do this. And I think yes, it was largely individual. So when I say individual level, I mean we both are in sync together whenever we discuss things.
Yeah. And Susmita, what gave you the courage? Like, here is somebody who's come back, who has a good career. You're having a good career, and he suddenly says, "You know what? Let's move to a farm. Let's live a self-sustaining life, grow our own vegetables, use solar power, and that's it." You were okay with it?
I would say that I want Sudhanshu to be happy. If your partner is not happy, then you also are not happy. The whole idea is that compatibility comes from happiness of each other. And this is not just words or something like that, because when I see that, a person has a potential to be doing what he wants to do, and we do not have such dreams of buying something or accumulating something, so might as well take the risk. What's the big deal? We fail, but at least he'll be happy doing what he's doing. I'm very easy person to be with. I don't need so much in life. I would like a good meal, a little bit of exercise. I love my dogs, my kids. So it doesn't matter if it is in a village, if it's in a Gurgaon ka plush mall. I can go in a metro. I love a Scorpio. I do not take too very seriously in terms of that. I knew whenever Sudhanshu takes a decision, he takes a decision very consciously. It's not a hasty decision. And put the resignation. He's not drunk and writing a resignation. He's researched and writing a resignation. So I knew that this guy knows what he's doing. I continued to be in the job for some time as he was settling down in Vidisha, and when he decided that he knows what he knows, because we need to be practical in life, because there are expenses to handle, there is a life to run on, and so we decided that I'll be the torchbearer, and I'll continue to do. I used to come in the weekend. My boss was kind enough to give me a work from home for 1 week and 1 week from Delhi, and life moved on. So I think when you take a leap of faith, the toughest things start getting easier. You can't even imagine ki kahan se help aayega. So he decided, and when I spoke to my boss about it, that he was like, very nice, let him do it. You continue to work if you want to. So the company flew me in and out. What more do you want,
Yeah.
So I think courage is very important.
Yeah.
Take that leap of faith. Have the courage and have the belief that जब आप difficult decision लेंगे, the God will make path for you. You might not be able to see it, but take that step, take the next step, take the next step. So that's how I decided to be with Sudhanshu and not to make him scared that what will happen to our future, where my children will go. Today the women start thinking before conceiving already where the child will go for education. So
Yeah.
I am seeing now we have a 10-month-old kid with us, and he's socializing with all the helps that we have. The bhaiya log who works in the farm, the loving way they take the sun, and the way he's plucking the tomato from the thing and eating it directly, not washing it. It gives a lot of sense. Like, theek hai, sab theek hai. We don't have to worry about the education bit of it. I think the nature will be the best teacher we have.
That's so true. And courage, like you said, is one step at a time. That's all it is. That leap of faith and one step at a time. So, Sudhanshu, coming back to you with this solid backing that Sushmita was giving you and the research that you had on hand, how did you move from that step of, okay, my family to the people around, the space around me? How did you move into organic farming at a bigger space, using the community around you? How did all this happen?
I think initial 6 months, I was just trying to understand how do you prepare nursery? How do you irrigate plants? What to do when pest comes? Because we were doing organic farming, so things were all the more difficult, and the knowledge was not so easily available. And there is no straight answer to any challenge that you face. Even now, there is not many straight answers. I mean, we could keep learning every single day. I think with aloe vera and moringa that we started doing, moringa came out very nicely. And I was surprised to see a plant can grow that fast and so beautifully. Even today also we have its picture. And it was very, very satisfying. But then whatever you see on YouTube and whatever people tell you, even during the paid training session, claiming that they are experts, that is not how things are always, because there are consultants who are teaching you something. On the hindsight, now I see that those were the people who had not really grown those things themselves, and they really don't know how to do farming. I think we realized this initial 6-7 months. We had a spare part of land which was available to us, and there was the place where we could have done anything. And the spare land that we had on the farm, all the farmers around us suggested, why don't you do paddy on this land? It was about 5 acres of land. And I had absolutely no idea what is paddy. I knew rice, but I don't know what is paddy. I was that ignorant then. And again, we did our bit of research. We spoke to people. We went online and everything we did. And I was told that you should not be doing paddy organically. I was told very, very clearly that you should not be doing organically. It is not going to reap anything. Your money will be lost and you will be lost and everything will be lost. When I did the math and I tried and understand what kind of investment is needed and all those things, I think let's go ahead and do it. And I think Sushmita also helped me clarify a very fundamental thing about what we are doing now. Is I think we were on a road where we had to decide which way we will be going. And whenever I do get confused, and I do get confused often, And I go and talk to Susmita and discuss, this is one option and this is second option, and I'm confused about which one to go with. And if I get a very reasonable answer that connects my dots, then I'm sure that, okay, go ahead, let's do this. So I was like, Susmita, there is a possibility of doing organic paddy and there is a possibility of doing chemical based paddy. I don't know which one to go ahead with. And then Sushmita is like, how, what is the difference? So I tell her that, this is the difference, that is the difference. And so she'll not talk about money. She'll not talk about what kind of investment will go, what kind of return will come, what kind of production and blah, blah, blah. She's like, why you are doing farming? So I tell her that, I'm doing farming because of these things. And then the nature comes in. Then birds I love, totally love, animals, everything. Then Sushmita is like, you are doing organic farming so that you are not damaging their ecosystem, right? And when you are doing chemical farming, you will be damaging their ecosystem, right? So she's like, why do you want to do chemical farming? Well, absolutely perfect. Because my finance brain comes in and says, dude, if you do organic farming, your money will be lost. You will not be able to sell it. What you will do? If I am doing chemical farming, Sushmita tells me, no, this is the reason you took this life-changing decision. So she help me to focus on those things. And that is absolutely fantastic. And there was a time when decided, dude, whatever we are going to do whatever suits nature. You are not going to go against it. It's going to be pro nature, whatever you call it, organic farming, natural farming, go-adharit kheti, blah, blah, whatever. So that was the time we decided, whatever the money is, whatever it is, we'll go with organic farming. And we started doing paddy. And ma'am, I tell you, the beautiful crop, and absolutely amazing. The production was fantastic. And the people around us were like, what? Organic farming, paddy? This guy who have absolutely no knowledge about it came up with such amazing crop. The crop looked fantastic, super healthy. It was free from diseases, where our neighboring crops had diseases. Our investment was not that high. Moreover, I was like, I'm not going to sell paddy and going to the mandi and sell it there. I'm not going to do that criminal offense. I decided I will take this and keep it with me and see what to do, and I'll share it with few people and let's see what happens. And people just loved it. I mean, the kind of aroma it had, people absolutely loved it. We sold at a premium price. There were several repeat buys, and we were sold out in maybe 5-6 months. Whereas usually, whenever you take a harvest of paddy and if you convert it to rice, you have to keep it for a year at least. In our case, it came out so well that even if you cook now, it will be cooked properly. It will not be soggy at all. And paddy is not an easy crop to grow. Those 5-6 months spending on inside those pools of paddy, maintaining that schedule of spray, no consultant with you supporting you or telling you what to do, what not to do, and manage here and everybody coming together and working on it and figuring out what to do, what not to do, and the different challenges that comes in. And I think everything fell in place nicely. The monsoon was right. And imagine this thing, we were standing almost 4 feet deep into water inside the paddy pool, and we have like 7 to 8 feet long cobra floating around us, hunting for fishes inside those pools. And we were absolutely comfortable. I never felt scared a bit, and neither our team felt scared a bit. And we could do it very nicely, and everything went well. That was the first crop that taught us how to do farming and why we were doing organic farming. Those fundamentals got cleared out, and from there things were sorted. And those clients who bought that rice, they become our permanent client. They said, okay, send me more. Then they were like, do you have wheat? Then they were like, do you have vegetables? Do you have flowers? Do you have dalia? Do you have pulses? I thought, okay, now this is the model that we are going to be, and we are going to be direct D2C into organic farming. We'll produce, we'll process, and we procure from the farmers whom we really know they are doing good work, and we'll sell directly to our clients. We gathered our thoughts together, and our business was established. We did our trials of selling our stuff to different people all over before starting an organic store. And we started organic store in 2020 January. And everything went well since then. I mean, COVID was definitely a time where our sales grew.
You started in 2020 in the pandemic? You started?
So our organic store started in 2020. Farming started in 2008.
So here was Sudhanshu, logical brain, logical thinker, finance guy, getting into an emotional decision of getting down to nature and literally dirtying your hands and getting close to her. Where did the two meet, Sudhanshu? How did you balance? Thanks to Sushmita, how did you balance the two, your logic and your emotion?
A difficult question to answer, honestly. I really don't know how it got balanced. I think let me go back to the sixth standard where I had always plans of doing business, but had no clue what I'm going to do. Whatever the models or whatever the businesses I saw around me, I just couldn't feel connected with it. However, when I saw organic farming, I always call it as a win-win situation. When you see all the microorganisms living inside the soil, so when you go with nature, they're happy. When you are not putting any chemicals on the soil, their families are expanding. The worms that live inside that soil, they're happy. They live nicely below the soil. The crop that you grow above the soil, that is eventually more resistant and stronger when you focus on native seeds. They will not demand too much of fertilizers or pest management things, if the system is established, everything will happen on its own. The technology is always there. The nature has done its bit long time back. It's just us human who just meddle with it and damages things, and they say, okay, this is a problem, let me solve it. This is quite full. The native seeds will do its own thing. They are drought resistant. They can manage a lot of excess rain also to a certain level. They're pest repellent. They don't get damaged so quickly. So all those things are there. Now, when you harvest those seeds, the fruits of those seeds, you pack it and sell it to your clients, and take it fresh to your clients. The clients are happy. It is nutritious. It is tasty, and it's coming
Everything.
directly from the farmer, directly from the educated couple who knows what they're doing. They're happy, and and they also don't mind paying a premium for that. And people who are working on the field, the entire team who's working on the field, supporting this mad guy who's sitting on the field and saying we'll not use urea, DAP, or pesticides. And those people also see the results. Yes, this can be done. This is possible. And if you see the entire chain, everybody is happy. The entire chain is full of value addition. That also makes financial sense. So I think this is a very beautiful where where innovation, where emotions, where bottom line, everything comes together. And I think this is a very unique place where everybody is happy.
Now, here you are, so beautifully balanced with it all. And I love the way you connected it and said at the end, everyone is happy. Everyone in the
Yeah.
chain is happy, right from nature to the humans who are consuming it, and you in between, both of you in between who are providing it. 2018, you started, 2020 is when you started your store. And 2020 was also pandemic. Well, the whole world went into a reflective space. You started a store. And what did the pandemic teach you?
Pandemic taught us, I think, a lot of things. First of all, we could see that both of us very courageous again. When there were a lot of people who wanted to just go back to their home and just shut their doors, and they decided not to do anything, until they know what's going on. And I think we as Jaivik Jeevan was recognized by the government, and our name appeared in on different newspapers that these are the people who are providing organic vegetables across the city. We got amazing amount of demand throughout, I mean, entire period, and from all different places. All those people who heard of organic and who never knew about organic, I mean, everybody just
Okay.
called in. And ma'am, most of these people were amazing. Even during the pandemic, those people used to invite us to have some food or whatever, tea or coffee or whatever. And there was the first wave was a time where people were really, really scared, and they were not aware of how it is going. And our delivery team, their family pressures and everything, so they also dropped out. So it was just me who was delivering, and often Sushmita used to accompany me in delivering the stuff. We used to, pack stuff at home, get stuff from the farm to Bhopal. Prepare everything, pack it, put it in our car, and deliver it to different places across Bhopal, driving 100 kilometers maybe in a day in different places in within Bhopal itself. I had very few people on the road, so I loved it that way. And meeting different people, taking stuff to different corners of the city was very good. And we both now I see back that we were not scared. But in second wave, again we were doing very well. Our business was doing very well. But our entire family got ill with COVID, so we had to stop operations for a certain time, right? And because of that, our farm also suffered because we were not able to visit the farm. So there were a reasonable period of about 8-10 months we were not doing any sales. That happened even in first COVID also. There was a reasonable time period where we couldn't deliver stuff. That also happened because the chain at the farm broke and we were not able to manage things that way.
But I think I'll just come here. It was not just the financial losses that we had, but it was also COVID again taught us nothing is going to be permanent. You might make plans and all of that. The nature or the world or whatever it is, the superpower will decide what will happen. And again, I would say that having a calmer mind, not having financial pressure, not having that kind of the Excel sheet, the goals that you have to achieve, help us, okay, step back. If we have to step back, there's no point of fretting over it. We'll see what needs to be done once the pandemic gets better. It's just that, we wanted people to be safe around. Whatever we could do from our end, we did our part of it, reaching out to. So COVID infected people also, we reached out to them. We didn't touch hand and hug them, but we did not shy away. The people used to tell that we are COVID positive. आप नारियल पानी भी ला सकते हो क्या क्योंकि we don't sell नारियल पानी ना. It's like, and we dude, if think about it, I was on the other side, so it was Bombay, the teaching of Bombay that came back. If you can help, why not? You're going that side, might as well take that nariyal pani for the COVID patient and just get I have only cash, so we were not transacting. And it's like, you're not running away anywhere. Just keep the money. Whenever we can take it, we'll take it. So you went beyond money, you went beyond your financial losses, you went beyond what will happen now next quarter, how will I survive, how will I pay so many people. The beautiful part is like, take it, let the storm pass and we will see what needs to be done. So I think that is because we have already to somewhat evolved ourselves into a calmer being before COVID itself, and that really helped when the people were losing jobs and all of that. We're like, हम तो भाई ऐसे भी jobless हैं, हमें क्या चिंता.
Sushmita, here what I wanted to ask you especially was you are managing a home, kids, your dogs, your cats, along with the farm and Sudhanshu. So, how did you balance yourself? What was your takeaway from COVID?
So I think I just took a day at a time, and I did not get too scared of what's the uncertainty, because when you have a fearful mind, all negative thought comes into your mind. What happens this? What happened if my parents get it? What happened? Like we will be safe, we will be cautious. Whatever protocols need to be followed, we'll do it, and then we'll see. So just a day at a time helps, and that kept us going, and we decided that whatever is possible, whatever is feasible, we'll keep doing it. And I think we did it. And again, what I'll say is that when the staff did not turn up because of pressure or whatever, Sudhanshu and I do not have that ego of what institution we comes from, what packages we had. If you have to deliver, you have to deliver. What's the big deal about it? So now I know aunties also, I know their dog's name also. So it is said that if you want to have a centenarian life, live 100 years, then you have to eat less than your hunger, and you have to be physically moving, and you have to socialize. So COVID gives a lot of folks now who are friends and families, and it's good to be, and we're like, take it, बढ़िया, बहुत कोई दिक्कत नहीं. So I think, and God was kind. There was we did were positive, but no casualty happened in our house. So we're very grateful to God for that reason. And I said financial losses are very small in terms of personal losses, So So my heart goes out to all the people who suddenly had that thing. So I was like, what, money is very small when it comes to things. We'll always make it again. So I think it was a learning period. It was something to introspect on. Life moved on from there.
Talking about life, I'll start with you. 3 life lessons that you would like to leave us with, Sushmita.
You have to think beyond yourself. Once you start doing that, it becomes beautiful. Once you start not worrying about people around you, but if you start like living with them and start sharing your dreams with them. So here I would call as like we are at the farm right now, all the didis and the bhaiyas who work with us, there's no attrition rate. People don't leave us; they stay with us. They learn from us, and today they have mobiles. They have bike, they have a pakka house. I don't know if a pakka house is an indicator of a great success, but they have a pakka house. So makes us very happy because we went beyond ourselves and suddenly think about it. Dhanora Haveli is not even a village I was aware of in my life, but today those folks are my family. The people who work in my store are my family. And I think thinking beyond my own life has helped me do my bit of it to be happy. I think the second life lesson would be do not worry too much, one step at a time, one day at a time. You should have a long-term goal where you're going, I'm not saying that be a wanderlust and, enjoy yourself and do not be conscious, be aware, of what you're doing and be courageous. Do not, safety is a very, COVID taught us safety is a very false thing that we have that, if I have this much money, I'm safe. If I have a house which is, I'm safe. No, you're not safe. You're vulnerable. So do not try to be too safe also. Take that courage. Enjoy what you're doing. And third is if you have more than what you need to share. As simple as that. So, and if you share, you're going to be happy.
And if you share, you're going to have lots of friends.
Lots of friends, lots of
you.
Absolutely. So that's where you are, and you have people who are very, very. So today, I see families who could not have to go to distress migration from village to urban areas and be neighbors there. They continue to have their farms. They work with us. So they're not agricultural laborers. They are staff. The people likhna padna aata hai. They're taking care of the processing center. They do the diary entries. They do. So we are blessed that we got an opportunity to, help others as we helped ourselves. It's not that I am living under poverty right now, but I make sure that when I am moving ahead, in my life socially, financially, I'm also moving ahead with other folks who are working with me. And that is the beautiful part of it. If I was moving and I would have bought a BMW by now, I would have bought it for me and my son. But when I see that, I have a Royal Enfield 650. So one of our farmer just staff who works with us, he bought a Pulsar and he says, Madam, aap chala ke dekho na, aap to bike chalate ho, kaisa lagta hai? So he has this pride of, she will drive my bike. So, meri behan ki shaadi pe aana, yeah, whatever they do, they kind of inform and, then they discuss, ye wala phone lena hai kya? There is a joy that, they're moving forward and they do not see us as capitalist people who wants to take them as agricultural laborers and, you're just a labor with us. No, we consider each, like right now from the driver, from the didis who pack, didis who make the dal, the people who are irrigating our fields with us and everybody, they're all a part of the team, we have no hierarchy, we have nothing, we sit together and we work and we're growing together, the beautiful part of it. So that growing together is a lot of joy that brings it.
Wow. Okay, Sudhanshu, your 3 life lessons.
Whatever you are doing, you should ensure that that step is not going to damage nature. It's like whenever we go out, whenever we go for holiday or whenever stepping out during the day, we ensure that our house is clean and proper, so that at least when we come back, it's in order. My point is when we will leave this earth, we should ensure that it's there for other generations to come also, and it's not just generation of human beings. It should be there for all other creatures around, from microbes to lions and giraffes and zebras and earthworms and all the Beatles and everything, and we will be pretty stupid most of the time, that thinking that this is, this everything is for our disposal, and that is not right. You have to start thinking beyond yourself, and yourself, that is, it's not just you individually, it is beyond humanity. Then only you'll be considered human, because human beings are the only one who have so much power to think and create things. So there is a lot of responsibility, and you cannot just damage the entire thing and just leave and be very selfish about it. So that is one thing that we should be doing. And I often tell Susmita and talk to Susmita about, every new thing that we get, it comes from here only, right? Be it from mining section, or be it being created in some factory or something, it is coming from this earth only. And if it is coming from earth, you are definitely damaging something. It should be like minimal damage. The cows don't damage entire grassland altogether. They are fertilizing also the entire thing all the time. Fortunately, we are humans and we have that kind of brain and opportunity. We should take care of that and act accordingly. That is one thing. Second thing, like Susmita also mentioned this during the conversation, that our education was not barrier for what we were doing. Education should liberate you. It should not put you in confinement where you are not able to do things. If you have the opportunity of going to the best of schools and colleges, I appreciate investment bankers. I really do. I wanted to be an investment banker at some point in life. They did a great job. But at the same time, if you have this opportunity of getting educated from best of schools in the world, then you should ensure that you add value to this humanity, this planet. You cannot just thinking that, you come from IIM. So is it making sense for me to just, lift a bag of Loki and take it to the mandi and sell it among those people? And third thing is, if you have the eye and if you are able to see things closely, and if you are in senses, then I think you will find beauty and intelligence everywhere, right? I have learned, and I learn every single day. So I learn from people who work with us on the farm. I learned from the person to whom I took first Loki produce and thought, okay, I've just too much of Loki, will go waste in 2 days. Let me go and sell it in the mandi and get experience also. I learned so much there, how these people sell things and what all this farming pain and that why a farmer go through so much of pain and trauma all his life. The solutions are simple, and my point is, you should always have your eye open and learn from things. And if you're learning and you losing your egos, you will be able to add a lot of value again to, in whatever small or large, doesn't matter. I mean, you should be in a position to do that. I think those are the three things.
And the most important, be very wise, personal or professional life, to choose your partner.
That was the biggest investment I had, man. So when Susmita is like, she's like, why, what's wrong with you, man? Why you had to go through all this? I thought, this happened, I think, some point in time. And I saw that, okay, living life is different, but if I have to live my life with a miserable person, or maybe I am with her, or, in some point in time, it doesn't make sense. Think about it. I mean, you may be rich tomorrow, maybe you lose your wealth tomorrow, you never know. But if you are losing your wealth with a person whom you don't really like to hang out with, and if you're not with friends with, and if you are making money with somebody whom again you don't like or not able to fine tune with, I think everything is waste. Every moment is waste there. So she was the biggest investment I had.
And in Susmita as well, both of you were very fortunate. God was kind and got the two of you together. And touch wood, may your partnership continue and may you blossom and bloom to create the change that you're doing in this world. Honored to have you on You and I with Rashmi Shetty. A pleasure meeting and talking to both of you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely grateful. Thanks for calling us.
Thank you.
With that, we come to the end of this weekly quest of You and I with Rashmi Shetty. Do let us know if you know people who make the world beautiful. Write in to rashmi.thethirdeye@gmail.com. That is RASHMI.THETHIRDEYE thirdeye@gmail.com. Come, let's explore this amazing world together, both you and I.